to Red Devils TV, and finally, we are back after a hiatus of around 4 years. And today, we are here to discuss the summer transfer window of this season. And while it has been quite interesting for some clubs, it has been a bit disappointing for others. And today, with us, there is my friend Anuran, who's a Liverpool fan here.
Hello.
And there's a Sohag who is an Atletico Madrid fan, but he's here to provide us with some unbiased and neutral opinions on how the other leagues view the Premier League monologue and the clubs. So here we're going to discuss about the clubs here, and since it's a Manchester United fan channel, we are going to discuss about Manchester United. And as a Manchester United fan, it's quite disappointing what has happened here because the transfer window didn't go exactly what we planned about because we didn't get a midfielder and we probably lack depth in the wing back areas, and it's been a quite failure. If I'm being honest, I would rate it at 4 out of 10, but maximum you can push it to a 5, but not more than that because Ineos have absolutely failed themselves. Wouldn't you agree, Anuran, with me?
Yeah, I would agree absolutely. United desperately need a defensive midfielder right now, and Manuel Ugarte isn't doing the job for them, and Casemiro is too old for them. Plus, what is going on with Mainu, no one knows whether he stays for now, but his future is quite in the jeopardy. And on top of that, they haven't even to sell Sancho again, and he's on another loan deal to Aston Villa. What will happen with his future, no one knows because his contract is up next year. So I really don't understand this decision making of United, and especially when in the times they need a defensive midfielder, they went for no one in the window, and rather further strengthen their attack with a 75 million attacker who doesn't even start a match for them. So what was the point of all this? And we don't even know how long is Ruben's future there.
That's quite true. That's quite true. What do you have Sohag to add to our conversation here?
The main thing about United is I don't know if it's true or not, but it seems like Jim Ratcliffe is prioritizing future like prospect players than ready proven players. I know that Mbuemo is quite old and Kune is about 25, but majority of the signings are towards the future. But one thing about the goalkeeper is you do not need a very young goalkeeper. Goalkeeper is possibly one of the only positions where you can have a 40-year-old playing. Buying an inexperienced goalkeeper from Antwerp who only has like one season, if I'm not wrong, on in top flight football
Two, exactly, two.
is a disaster waiting to happen. It's
Yeah, I
is
didn't really
absolutely going to
understand
be
the
a
logic
disaster.
of canceling the Martinez deal. Actually, you are not taking a Premier League proven keeper for a newbie. I really don't understand the
Yeah,
logical
that's a big
behind
risk. That's a big risk since Martinez gives you some much added experience and that aggression, that mentality to fight, which is very lacking in the current Manchester United squad. I'm gonna say that there is no proper mentality. If we go down in a match, there is no mentality to come back to fight, and the resilience that we have seen in the Manchester United teams under Sir Alex Ferguson before, we have not seen this in this current regime under Ruben Amorim or the previous managers we have seen before. So I think that is the kind of character you lack. That is the Eric Cantona-esque character which a team needs, especially a team of Manchester United's caliber, which is lacking in that depth.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And
and I
they need
think
to you go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So I think Ineos are better owners than Glazers, but I think they are quite naive in their approach since the main problem lies with them is they are kind of obsessed with the Chelsea model of like signing youngsters with resale value and then selling them on a higher profits, which I agree on certain aspects, but you can't do that for every player because you need some experienced players. You just can't just like take a lot of bunch of young players and just put them in the team and expect them to gel together. That doesn't happen. Even if you have a good code of young talented people, you need some experienced players to help them fulfill their potential and nurture them in their developments. So I think this is a regard where Ineos have failed massively. And I get that you want to build a team for the future, but stockpiling talents, like youth talents, just for the sake of it when you have no base for the current team is is kind of preposterous, and I think that is not worth it. And this is why I think United won't finish much more than seventh or eighth. I think they might scam a Conference League position, but no, nothing more than that.
I mean,
I
the front
wager
line
they
is
won't
quite good
finish
this
higher than
season.
8.
Yeah, carry on.
So I'm just saying I wager they won't finish higher than 8. I
I
predict
mean,
United to
uh,
miss out on European football again.
it's quite likely a prediction, but the considering the front line they have improved on it quite so much, and like two
The
experienced proven forwards right now they have, along with a
team
75
is
million
as good
record
as the
signing
sum
on
of
top.
its parts, and right now there are quite a few parts missing from the United team.
Yeah, of course, they actually need a defensive midfielder urgently who can win them the ball, because playing Mainu in the pivot or Ugarte is not doing any job for them. And Casemiro is quite old; he is literally one step away from Saudi, and they
Also,
need
I
a
do not
quite
understand
dependable
playing.
goalkeeper.
Also, I do not understand playing Bruno as a number 8. He was
Yeah, this
never
is
a
this is
number.
this is an option neither does any United fan understand, because that is absolutely pointless. We are taking away his best attributes and shoehorning him into a role which he has never done. And so I think it would have been better if we had sold him to Saudi and recouped some of that money and invested into the squad properly, because I think with that money you can easily get two midfielders, and even if even you can invest in the wing back areas as well, which really looks thin at that moment.
I
Yeah,
mean, in
like
fullback area, you still have some options like Masraoui, Dilot, Ahmad, and new guy, Dorgu and Luke Shaw. So that's like
But the problem is, like, Dorgu is
six
is quite
players.
young. Is quite young. Shaw is injury prone. Ahmad doesn't really fit the mold of a wing back. Mazraoui, you can say it's a 50-50 chance, but doesn't really have that intensity to go back and forth, and bomb down the byline matches after matches, week and weeks after week. So I think we are kind of lacking in that area. I think I would have liked someone like Ain Nouri or Dumfries in that department. I think United will suffer from that, not having a specialist wing back in the upcoming season.
sometimes when United have the players, they don't have the manager. When they have the manager, they don't have the
Ah,
players.
yeah, yeah, man. I absolutely
Like
agree. That's
as you talked about experience, the window under Tenak, they bought in Ronaldo, Varane, like
nah,
very much
that was actually
experienced players.
that was actually under Solskjaer. That wasn't
Yeah,
under Ten Hag.
sorry. Yeah, that rain they got a great window, and but ultimately a very inexperienced manager would, I would say, not a quite compatible one. And after that, when they bought a good manager, the good manager literally kicked their star player out. Apparently, the last time United had an actually good striker. Like,
Yeah, but we all saw what happened to the good manager when he left United. He got sacked in 3 months' time by Leverkusen. So I don't think we can give him the title
Was
of a
he a
good
good
manager just now.
manager? Was he a good manager?
I don't think
Really?
so. I don't think so. I know that he's quite popular among the fan base. That, yeah, he brought some trophies, but I think that those trophies papered over the cracks over the team that we had back then. Because I think the first season was Casemiro and Rashford carry job, and the second season it was we were relying on Scott McTominay to get us late Fergie time goals, which enabled us to get
What make
a bottom time mid table place and finish eighth ultimately. And then we somehow pulled off a standard performance against Man City, and a Man City which was absolutely lackluster. And it also seemed that they might have over partied after winning the Premier League for the fourth time.
And
yeah,
first of all, it was a big mistake for United to sell Scott McTominay. He was being shoehorned into a wrong role. It was clear and evident that he is a really good, like a box crashing number 8 who thrives under chances as seen in Napoli. He was not a defensive player, he was never a defensive player. But under Ole and then under Ten Hag, he was mostly used as a like a defensive pivot player. So that was a huge miss. And even on under the current Amorin system, I bet McTominay would have been a good number 10.
I mean, yeah,
I
he
mean,
can play
we
that
cannot
role, but
speak about the player who's gone after all. And
yes,
McTominay is loving
exactly.
life in Italy right now. So United have to work with what they have, and what
I'm
they
I'm
have is
very
not
pleased
looking good.
by what he's doing at Napoli and what he has achieved thus far. But let's be honest here, he wasn't like fitting into the United team, and yeah, that wasn't partly due to him. I think the managers misprofiled him a lot because he was never a CDM. He was never a CDM. He was more of a that box crashing box like Gundogan-esque profile, I think, and we massively out profiled him. And as that has happened with many players after the Fergie's reign, because I think we had played Di Maria in the midfield and Angel Di Maria, uh, uh, winger who won the Champions League with Real Madrid and reached the World Cup final with Argentina in the same year. We played him in the C center midfield position under Van Gaal. So I think there has been a history of misprofiling players because we don't know what kind of managers we are actually hiring, because we can grow from one philosophy to another. Under Moyes it was counter attacking, then under Van Gaal it was about total football and having control and possession and what Ajax and Barca have been known to do. And under Jose, it was all that park the bus, very defensive, us versus them, siege kind of mentality. So there's a change of philosophies, and when you change the philosophy that drastically, and when you get that 360-degree angle, you won't find a proper setup where the proper system where players are thriving properly. I don't think that's possible actually.
I mean, the United system continuously change because they have hiring like 3 4 managers almost every time, as we can see. One
Yeah,
manager comes brings in a certain set
patience
of
is a
players.
virtue we lack. Patience is a virtue we lack. Okay, we
Yeah.
have discussed enough about Manchester United. I think they are gonna perform better than last season, but not to the point where we want as United fans. That is fighting for the Champions League spots, winning titles, and then. But I don't think we are gonna do anything this season. I think the best we can do is seventh or eighth. So let's move on to Liverpool. And Anuran is a very diehard fan of Liverpool who has seen the tough times as well as the good times of Liverpool and has been supporting the club to thick and thin. So, what do you say? What do you have your opinions about the transfer window?
I would say from Ricky Lambert in deadline day to Alexander Isaac, club came a long way.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, it's been a great window nonetheless. Though, as I read few minutes ago, the Gay deal fell through. I think, as per Ornstein reported.
Yeah, that's a
So
bummer.
it looks like he's staying for now, but it's okay. We have still have the four center backs, and what will happen with him, we don't know until January right now. But yeah, they have addressed almost all the issues as much as possible for the team, like replacing two forwards and like especially Darwin Nunez, who was consistently missing some goals, and we won't say about that anymore. We have two compatible strikers right now who can actually find the net. And where I'm like a bit concerned is the left wing's position because there is Gakpo and there is a 16-year-old kid after that. So anyone would have to slot in
You
that
are
position.
forgetting about Chiesa.
Yeah, Chiesa is there, but like how much slot fancies him, I still don't have an idea. Because
And
like few
also,
matches he has
Isaac
come
used
on.
to play in left wing at Real Sociedad, so he can play left wing. Even in Newcastle, he played few matches in left wing and he did well. So
But
it's
I mean,
but I think that's a complete waste for a player who have bought for
yeah,
125 million. That's like putting square
and
pegs in round holes. That's not gonna work. I mean, it
and
he's
might
Benzino
one of
work,
the
last
but
year
worst
almost
players.
7 foot striker playing left wing. It's no point basically. He has a good aerial presence. It's literally wasting his talents. AKTK rather can do a job on the left, and he has done it before. So I would say,
even Words can do a job in the left wing position. I think.
yeah, but
Words
right
lacks
now
the
we have to
pace
see
to
with
be
what
a
Watts
winger.
does.
Words
Like,
seriously lacks the pace to be a winger. I
Yeah, that's true.
seriously
That's true.
believe
That's true.
yeah,
Words would do a better job as a number 9 than a
like,
attacking midfielder.
in a team with two number nines already competent, why would the Watts be slot in the number nine position?
That's the problem.
Yeah, so either they have to operate him on the wing or on the cam position. But
Also,
like,
I don't
either way,
think
he has not adapted till now, as much as I can see. Those three matches were quite not a good performance, I would say. The second half was better against Arsenal, but he seems too sluggish and still in that Bundesliga mood, what I would say. He hasn't
also
recovered
I do
from it
not
yet. and will take time to adjust in the team.
From what I've seen from the last 3 game weeks of the league, and especially from Liverpool and Arsenal's point of view, I think the amount of transfers they have made, I think we need to give them a fair amount of time to see the team gel properly, because it's not easy to just click just like that with the 4 or 5 signings when you have in the starting lineup.
Yeah, of course. Like there needs to be a chemistry within the team, which has not yet developed, as we can see. And many players aren't even properly accustomed to the pace of the Premier League or fully match fit for that. Ekdike is always coming on at the 70th minute, as I can see. And even Slot said he is not fully match fit. Yet he is providing a performance. But the teams need to gel up. And after all, football is about money. You don't improve, you fall behind the curve. That's what happens. Like we can see with Aston Villa, they didn't do much reinforcements and they are going a bit behind.
Aston Villa
Though they
has
have got,
absolutely fallen off a cliff. Absolutely fallen off a cliff.
yeah, though they got Harvey on loan today, as much as I can see. So great player, great lad. I
Yeah,
hope
I
he
think I
does
think
well
I
for
think
them.
They were
Harvey is on a
linked to
permanent deal.
Asensio. I do not know what happened.
I think Harvey is on a permanent deal. I think Sancho is on a loan.
Yeah, he Harvey is on a loan to buy actually, loan to buy of
Acha,
35
okay,
million. We
okay,
should
okay,
say so.
okay, got it, got it.
So we don't know what will happen with the future. Like they also had a loan to buy on Rashford, as I know. They didn't activate it. So
As
yeah,
a
I
it's
as a
think
difficult to say.
United fans perspective, I am very jealous of what Liverpool is doing. Like this is like a dream transfer window. I think they have assembled the Avengers or something. I must say, like 7 players bought, I think. So I think this is what the future of football landscape is. I think if you can, even if you win the league or the Champions League, you have to buy players. You have to consistently upgrade. If you don't, you might stagnate, and you can go through what Manchester City is going through at nowadays. And even last season they struggled very badly. So I think what Liverpool has done is to build a spine properly, which will be capable to take away from the likes of Salah and Van Dijk in a few years' time. And maybe this is the transfer window which could ensure them proper stability and security for the next 5 years, I think.
I mean, yeah, football every day is changing, and quite similar to F1, you have to upgrade the cars, and similarly, you have to upgrade the teams every year. Because if you don't, your competition will, and you will
Someone
fall
tell that
behind.
to Ferrari. Someone tell that to Ferrari.
And even to Red Bull.
I mean, Liverpool have done a madness. I don't think nobody expected them to do such things, and but I think this is the backing a manager deserves. Like because Klopp didn't get what he deserved. I think Klopp deserved a lot because when he won the Champions League, he got only Adrian as a summer signing. So I am very pleased to see what Slot is getting because he deserves, because he won the league title with just one signing, and even that signing he didn't use it properly, and Chiesa was out for most of the season. So I think he deserves the backing he gets, and I think Liverpool is still the team to beat, and I think it would take a large slip up for someone to catch up someone like Arsenal or Chelsea, because I don't see Man City catching them up any sooner.
Arsenal are catching no one. And
Yeah,
secondly,
yeah, they are not catching up if they're gonna play like Tony Pulis Stoke City. They are not. They are not. Absolutely not.
and secondly, Liverpool have silently been able to play Frimpong if he comes back on the right wing if it's needed, because Soboslai is doing such a fantastic job at right back. So they have got like Bradley, Soboslai, and Frimpong who can play right back. And since Frimpong can play right wing, it solves the problem of the left wing, since you could play Salah as a traditional winger on the left wing and play Frimpong as the right winger.
Soboslai looked like the natural Trent replacement last night, because I think he was pinging over those accurate vertical crosses over the top of the Arsenal defense, and I think he provided some much added defensive stability as well. Because against Arsenal, they will play on the counter, they will try to catch you in the transition phases, and I think he did really well facing off against Martinelli, who is well known as a speed merchant, as many would agree with me. But like he did really well, and I don't really see a reason for Slot to drop him, because I think he's a very integral part of what Liverpool have been doing for the last few years. I mean, since Klopp bought him, because I think he adds that bite, that tenacity to the midfield, which Liverpool desperately need. I think he is that that pressing machine that can constantly press, and that will eventually lead to errors, and that will eventually gift Liverpool goals. Exactly. So I think if you drop him, I think Liverpool are missing a vital cog of the machine.
Yeah, Szoboszlai is kind of like Wijnaldum with the versatility of midfield. What I would say, he has that insane energy and insane pressing rate. What I would say, and he can operate in multiple positions, and he's quite good at everything. And even set pieces, as we saw the last night, like Raya could do nothing there, and he was really immense. I would rather say both fullbacks were great actually. Szoboszlai versus even Martinelli, and on the other side, Karkes versus Madueke. Karkes didn't let him pass him once, actually, and was an immense performance from both the side backs, what I would say. And rather, when the defense is struggling, as per we saw in two matches, it's quite a positive sign.
Yeah, Karkis was an absolute warrior last night. I think the way he went head to head against Noni Madueke, it was brilliant. And I think to combat that issue, Calafiori was inverting in the midfield to overload that midfield, because I think Arsenal went too defensive with the lineup they had. Arteta, I think, tried to play safe, but in these matches you have to take some risks, because as Roy Keane has said previously, you don't win titles by getting draws. You win titles by making goals, and even if you don't play well, the main motive of this matches is to somehow get a goal and then make sure you don't concede anything else. So I think Arsenal needs to change their approach. I think Arteta is going way too defensive with the team he has. I think he had the likes of Eze, Downman, Nwaneri, Odegaard in the bench. So I think that speaks a lot about what kind of a tactic he tried to implement against. It was more about stopping Liverpool than us trying to do something else.
I
I
mean,
don't
they
think both
signed
of the team played for the
defensive
win.
midfielders,
Both were
and
playing for draws.
yeah,
Liverpool got lucky with the Szoboszlai free kick, which got them the 3 points ultimately. But both of the teams looked like they were playing for a draw,
I
and
mean,
that's quite
I would actually
understandable.
argue Arsenal were trying to create something, but they weren't able to actually. Liverpool soaked up the
As
pressure for the majority part of
what
the
do you
match.
expect from playing Moreno at camp?
I
I
mean,
don't
they
think
have
Moreno was
like,
playing Cam. I think they were. It was more like 4-3-3 flat. I think that was
I
more of
mean,
a.
they have like four center backs playing in the back line and three defensive midfielders. What do you expect?
Pure haram ball, pure haram ball. Absolute crime to the beautiful football, beautiful love.
The irony is they scored by set pieces and conceded a goal by set piece.
That's why I said they are just a glorified Tony Pulis Stoke City. They're just a glorified version of Stoke City. I know Arsenal fans will hate me for this, but it is what it is, and it is getting frustrating because yeah, you have sang about the process and like how he will eventually take Pep's crown, but then he gets overlapped by Slot, who didn't even sign anyone last season. So I think it's kind of
Always
getting
the
frustrating,
bridesmaid, never the bride.
and I think Arteta needs to deliver. I think his time is running out because only a certain
Arteta
amount
is
of I think only a certain amount
Arteta
of
is
time,
always the bride.
and I think only certain amount of time can be given to a manager to just like I just give him the trophies and one just you can only afford him a certain amount of time and like a patience. I think fans nowadays are very less patient and very fickle than the fans of the earlier days. I think they want it now. They want what the success in as immediate as possible. So I think Arsenal fans have been very patient with him, but I think now it's the time to deliver, because you don't get to spend 850 million and then say okay, we are going to finish second and everybody should be happy with it, because nobody will, and there will be protests, and I think people will be shouting Arteta out, and I think it is viable. I think it is valid to some extent.
I mean, they kicked out
Are
a
Arsenal
guy
really
called
brilliant?
Arsene Wenger. What do you expect from them after?
Yeah, we know that
Are
Arsenal fans
Arsenal
can be
really
quite toxic.
building on anything? Are they really? In half a decade, they have won nothing. Absolutely nothing in half a decade. In the same times when even Spurs have won a trophy. Spurs.
You mean a
Okay,
Spurs.
so
European?
we
Even Newcastle have won. Forget Spurs.
I mean, they
If
got some FA Cups here and there and some Carabao
that
Cups
was
medals.
five more than five
I
years
mean,
ago.
getting top four and winning FA Cups has been the holy grail for Arsenal for a lot of time, even since the later years of Wenger, and that is the best they could do. I think that they had a ceiling back then, but now they have broke those shackles. They have spent financially well. They have spent around 850
They've spent
million,
more than a
and I
billion.
think they need to. I don't think it's more than a million. I think it's close to a million, but like I think they need to deliver. That's what I'm gonna say now. As a neutral fan, I think as a
Arteta has
United
to
fan,
more than a
they need to
billion.
deliver. They need to deliver. Okay, so moving on
Yeah,
from Arsenal, so I think we should talk about Chelsea as well.
I mean,
Chelsea as usual,
what to
business
talk
as
about Chelsea?
usual.
I don't. I have to refresh the squad of theirs every time.
Good one, good one. I
Like,
think I have a question that where are they changing? I think there's not enough room in the dressing room. Like they have 65 or 70 players on their books. Like where are the players gonna change? I think there is no sense of privacy there, as Jamie Carragher said before
I
me.
mean, yeah, that was I quoting right now, and yeah, we don't know what's going up with Chelsea. Really, like they get a shitload of players every summer, and they don't even last every summer. What I would say, their main motto is right now buy cheap and sell more. That's what is going on. Like I really don't understand what he's doing or what Chelsea is doing, especially Todd Bowley. What is he trying? I don't know. He is making Chelsea a business model. What I would say, yeah, they got a good manager, they got a decent team, I would say, but is this team really one to compete at the top of the table? I don't think so till now.
The
I think
funniest thing
experience is
about
where they are lacking. Yeah, yeah. Continue. Sorry to interrupt.
the funniest thing about this team is that all that money spent to play a centre back pairing of homegrown players, literally academic players. That's the
That's the
funniest.
irony. That's the irony.
Even the right back is from their academy.
I mean,
I
are we
think the
ignoring
main.
the fact they have spent over a billion too?
I think it's around 2 billion. I think is no one not 1 billion.
Yeah,
Since Clear Lake has bought them, like they have gone absolutely mad dogs over the transfer window, and they have like brought anyone they have cited upon, and like literally anyone. I'm saying like anyone, and I've lost count. I think even Chelsea fans have lost count of who they are buying at this point.
I just saw a stat on the Twitter like which was saying Liverpool bought like 48 players over the span of 12 seasons. Chelsea have done it in last four.
Yeah, like like the transfer we had before, which was our 47th or something. Like that was back in 2014, and that was under Herrera, and that is the amount of players that they have bought in the last 2 years, and that is a shitload of players they have bought. And I don't know how the manager is going to figure it out, because at one point the hierarchy is going to demand titles, and at one point you're going to run out of that progress process gimmick that managers have been going around nowadays, instead of
Are
giving
they
immediate
are they
results.
even interested in trophies? That's my point. Because what they are doing every season is like buying cheap, selling more. Nothing more
Yeah,
than that. They are
I
a
think they
business
are just
model.
like Brighton with just a big budget. I
Yeah,
think they are
that's
just
what
a
is
rich
happening.
Brighton.
And
They are
even
just a
they're
rich
buying
Brighton.
some unnecessary players who they don't even need properly. Like, what is the point of Buonanotte? Like, why? Like, they have got a competent midfield. He won't see the pitch anytime. I'm saying you, but they will still buy.
Even I don't know why Garnacho has gone there. Like he didn't want to move to any other club other than Chelsea, and I don't know what's the reason is other than proving United fans wrong and just doing the calma celebration at Old Trafford. I don't see any other reason than that, because he's not getting any minutes as a starter in that team. I think.
I beg to differ. I think he will get decent minutes since Chelsea are also in the Champions League. He will get some time,
I mean,
especially during late in the season boxing
I
days
mean,
and in
there is a
December.
thing called squad depth, and there is a thing called unnecessary
Pecking order.
stamina. Yeah, like what are they trying to do with that? I am
They
really
do
don't
not
know.
really have that much squad depth if you really look at it, especially in the
I mean, they
wings.
got a they got a decent midfield, I would say, and okayish front line. What I would say, Jao Pedro is doing quite well. Palmer has been a bit on and off. What I would say in the Premier League, especially. Like he did well in the Club World
Palmer
Cup, as
has
I saw.
been really off. It was a mistake to take him in FPL in the first position.
I think the problem with Chelsea is I think they are too much relied on a player of Palmer's quality, and I guess that I know that player of Palmer's quality has to be the focal point of every team, but I think if you don't give him the materials, if you don't surround him with the players of the same quality, he's bound to run out of steam, which we already saw in the latter half of the previous season.
I mean, right now they got some decent players, I would say. Jao Pedro is a good addition, and Cucurella is doing quite well, as I saw for them. And they have already good midfield pairing of Enzo and Caicedo. Caicedo has been a beast, I would say, since that transfer failure. But yeah, it's overall what they are going through is kind of like what Bruno faced at when he came on. Like he was a revolution for the first years of United, one bright
Yeah, yeah.
spark, I would say.
The first two seasons were absolutely unbelievable. Like him, Pogba, Rashford, Greenwood, Martial, and that season we were booming absolutely. But the problem is if you don't add any quality or if you don't support them, they are bound to run out of steam at some point and they will deteriorate
Yeah, of
inevitably.
course. Like football is like that. Not like Chelsea are not adding someone; they are adding someone always. But the thing is, how much quality are they adding to the squad that is already existing?
Yeah, it's about quality, not quantity. So I think Chelsea have done
Chelsea
good,
are
but
mostly buying on potential, not on like proven material.
Yeah,
yeah,
they are
but
always trying a
potential.
project.
Yeah, but but potential works well when you have a base for the future to thrive properly. Like there is no point in stockpiling young talents when you don't have a proper base to supply them and nurture them properly. Like if
I
you
mean,
just
they
can't
bought
throw
in
young players at the deep end of the game and just expect them to provide matches. That's not how you build a team or like challenge for titles. I think that's a very wrong approach by the Clear Lake company.
Also, after spending like 2 billion, what is Robert Sanchez still doing in the room? Like,
That's a major question that many of Chelsea fans have been asking because I don't think that Robert Sanchez instills any confidence in me, and I'm a Manchester United fan. So I think we can all imagine what the Chelsea fans are going through because every time I know he has been class in the Club World Cup and even in the first few matches of the Premier League, but it always feels to me like he has a bozo moment in him. It's like the Onana syndrome. I think he can have a few decent matches, but there's always that fear that yeah, he's gonna make a mistake here. Yeah, he's gonna make a mistake there. Yeah, he's gonna make a mispass there. So there's always that fear, and like Chelsea have had some few like very dependable goalkeepers, like in the former Peter Cech, Thibaut Courtois, and even Eduard Mendy for a
yeah,
brief stint was a very good goalkeeper, and especially in that Tuchel UCL run, Champions League run, he was very formidable. So I think if you don't have a proper goalkeeper, I don't think a team can proceed further. I think.
who knows more than me?
Yeah, as a Liverpool fan, you have endured that pain. Yeah, yeah, and now as a United fan, I'm struggling. I'm going through the same thing because by clearly Baynder and Onana are not the perfect goalkeepers for United, and neither, and even if you can rotate them, nothing changes. So I think having a proper goalkeeper, I think helps out a lot, and it can bail you if in matches where you other players are not performing well to the extent you want them to be.
Yeah, a goalkeeper is
one of
always
the
like
biggest example is David De Gea against Arsenal.
he could save a fucking Titanic.
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Titanic.
So
So now let's move on from Chelsea. I think the remaining top six team we have is Spurs. I think so.
Spurs
Spurs
have a good window, I would say, actually, and they have brought in some good
lack
reinforcements.
depth.
But like their rejection saga continued for a too long time. But eventually they got Javi Simmons, which is not a bad thing. But could have been a lot better if they got Eze or someone Premier League proven like Morgan Gibbs White. But they couldn't
Spurs
eventually.
lack depth. Spurs seriously lack depth, especially in defense. They have like three fullbacks and two center backs.
Yeah, if one of Vanderson or Romero gets injured, you're back to Dragusin. You're back to Dragusin,
Yeah, that
and
is not a
playing
good position.
and then playing some academy kid, and then you are gonna get bullied basically. So I think they have lacked in
I
depth, and
mean,
as well
they
as
that guy did well for them in the preseason as much as I saw. Vuskovic or something. He's good,
Vuskovic,
but he's young.
Vuskovic, yes, yes. Yes. But you can't bank on your youngsters to bail you out entire season. So I think they should have bought a centre back. I think they were looking out for Pau Torres from Aston Villa, but nothing materialized as much to a deal, I think. So I know they have had a decent transfer window, but I think Thomas Bank needed more of a transfer backing, because considering they finished 17th, I think. Sorry, it's not 7th, 17th. So they finished 17th, and you need more than three
16,
transfers to turn it
17
around.
gets relegated.
So I think you need more than three transfers to turn it around. I think they needed at
Also,
least
another
five.
thing, they don't have proper depth at centre back, but they have like four centre forwards right now. Richarlison, Solanke, Tail, and apparently Kolomuani, the new signing. So, what
Colomoni
are
is
they
done.
trying to do?
Even Odobert can play as a striker, I think. So
Yeah,
five.
even I can play Kulusevski there too if I want, but why would I really? Like,
Like you see, if you want to play like Ten Hag played Mazraoui as a number 10, so you can play anyone else. You can play Romero as a striker as well. So that absolutely depends on the manager. And but yeah, they have a shit ton of strikers, but not enough depth in the defensive areas. And so I think, and even in the midfield, I think they have very similar profiles, like the likes of Bissouma, Sarr, Bentancur, Archie Gray, and Bergwall. Like they are very similar. They don't offer much different else from the each other. And the only unicorn in the team is Xavi Simmons. I think he's gonna have a good season along with Kudus, and
I feel like Xavi Simons will flop.
I think they are gonna have a good season. I think.
they should have a better season, I would say. Under a new manager, they will get some bounce. Though I thought Postecoglou could get one more chance after the final win, but they have gone to a very competent manager, I would say, and they can do well under Frank. But as much as we saw, like Spurs is not really what many people are trying to make in the early part of the season just because they beaten Man City and won the first match by a landslide. Like the Bournemouth performance proves that fully. The full first half, they didn't even register a shot on goal. So with a zero xG, what I
Spurs,
would say. So
Yeah,
problems are there.
With Spurs, it's always been sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. So like Spurs is like you don't know what you are gonna get. It's sometimes Mr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll kind of equation here. So it's like it's kind of confusing to either bank on Spurs or to not. So I think the consistency will be a issue, but I think they will have a better season than what they had the horror season they had before. And with Postecoglou, I always rated him as a manager. I think he's one of those few managers who's not gonna sacrifice anything or his system. I think his system is absolutely rigid, and he's not gonna sacrifice it for any player or even the owners. Even they prompted him to change the system to fit the players. But I think he was very stubborn, and ultimately he gave something that Spurs fans were absolutely dying for to get. So I think he did his job, but in the long term, I don't see a future with Postecoglou, because as adamant as he goes, you can't play a high line with the likes of Ben Davies, Dragusin, and those kind of guys. Like you're gonna get exposed. So it's not happening. And if you don't adapt well in the Premier League, you are not going to survive well. And
Yeah, I
Thomas
mean,
Frank
Amorim is
is a
also
very good
quite
indicator.
similar to Postecoglou. Both don't want us to change their system and are quite stubborn to it. Like, what separates a good manager from a great manager is the ability to adapt, what I would say.
Adapt.
And Thomas Frank adapted it pretty well. Like from three back, he also played a three back or a five back sometimes at Brentford. Right now he's playing a four back with Sar at the attacking midfield of the whole, what I would say, and he's doing quite well actually. So every manager needs to tweak the team a bit. If you keep it at constant and stick to your own ideologies, the team won't do any benefit.
Yeah,
tell
even
that to
like
Ruben Amorim.
the problem with Spurs, I think, will be depth. And since they are in the Champions League, I think they will get figured out in the Champions League, because you can't play the same 11 in every competition. So I think they will lose a few here and there matches, few unexpected losses I think will be coming their way, but I think they will have a better chance if I think Thomas Frank needed one or two better signings, but I think they will get at least top six easily. I think they should get top six, even if there's not a very huge injury crisis at the club. I think they should get top six, a
I
minimum
don't
at
think
I
they
least.
mean,
will get top
see, they
six.
should on the paper, but the issue is one center back gone and they're empty.
Yeah, that's
It's
what
like,
I'm saying. That if there's not a very huge injury crisis, I think they are good to go.
and they will face competition from the likes of Newcastle and Aston Villa, and it won't be that easy.
Don't
Of
rule
course.
out Crystal Palace.
Yeah, of course, Crystal Palace is also quite good, but I don't think they will finish on like the upper side of the table. But Aston Villa and Newcastle have the enough quality, and especially Newcastle, they got their strikers right now, so there is no more
I think the
problem with
major
forward.
problem that Spurs will have is to decide on which tournaments they want to ultimately bank upon. Whether is it the cup competitions or the league? Because I remember Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool didn't have that much kind of depth. Like they had three world-class attackers in the form of Mane, Salah, Firmino, and then at the bench they had Shaqiri, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Divock Origi, and even Ryan Brewster and those kind of guys, academy players. So under Klopp's tenure there during that time, he always prioritized the league over everything. So I think Spurs will have to choose if they want to focus on the league competitions or league or the cup competitions, and eventually they have to choose between one, because you can't go all in and then they will ultimately crumble in half the season was finished. So I think they will have to be decisive and very smart about the selections, and I think they will have to use more of their academy and the young players they have under their disposal, I think, in the cup competitions too, because you can't risk first teamers in the cup competitions and then they get long term injuries. That will harm them in the long term a lot.
I mean, it's just a beginning of a process. We can't judge Spurs fully right now. It will take time. But under Frank, I think they are in a good direction. If Levy trusts him in the long run, which is very necessary, and he is a good coach, he will do well.
Yeah. I actually wanted him at United when Ten Hag got sacked. I think he has proved as someone who can change and who can adapt properly. I think he was ready for a big move, and I think he got one. But I think I just can't wish that. I'm just jealous of that, of having a coach like that who can change his tactics and formations like the shape of water. So I think he's quite formidable, and I think he's quite flexible as in his proper, and he really knows what he's doing. Like he has he has separated Bissouma from the team, and Bissouma is quite rated among the Spurs fan base, and
Yeah, he's quite a disciplinary guy, and he wants to maintain the discipline in the team.
I think he knows what he's doing, and I think Spurs fans have a great manager among them, so I think they will do well. I think they do well.
And now coming to Manchester City,
Yeah,
City or
and
Arsenal?
yeah, we did
we,
Arsenal.
we spoke about us.
The flop of the season incoming.
Eh, Bro wants to make a villain already.
Nah, it's very simple. Victor Goakuris will flop. There's no way in hell he is going to be a success.
I
Number
mean, if
four,
you
Let's not
and
make
that well,
pre-assumptions right now. The next thing you know, he ends up with a 30 goal season.
I
We all
mean,
are sitting here hoping.
I mean, the main problem with Arsenal is like for any attacker to serve to properly prosper. I think they have to be very good on their own. Like Saka is, like he can take players on, two or three players on his own. But for a striker, it's not possible. If you are not getting the service, as I've said with Manchester United as before, like you can bring as good as a striker, but if you are not getting the service, if you are not getting the support from the wingers or the midfield, you won't be having a good season. So I think that is something Arteta needs to keep in mind about Gyökeres.
I mean, they have a good team, but I have seen Gyökeres not being involved that much in the part of the game, really. Like, if you see the early signings of Gabriel Jesus, he was the last striker when in his good spell, he was quite doing well before the injury struck. So they need that kind of individuality from him.
Yeah,
Gyökeres is
yeah.
not really providing that much.
Gabriel Jesus absolutely spearheaded the title challenge in 2022-2023 season. I think he was phenomenal until that injury, and with his injury, I think Arsenal completely fell apart in the front positions. So I think, but the problem with Gyökeres
Looking
and comparing Gyökeres and Gabriel Jesus is Gabriel Jesus is a classic natural number nine who is a poacher kind of profile. So and Gabriel Jesus's finishing is not up to par. I think City fans even complained about it. Arsenal fans even complained about it. Even Brazil, even when he plays for Brazil, I think he has missed a lot of stinkers, like
I
sitters
mean,
here.
in the generation of strikers like these, Gabriel Jesus still has like 80 goals in the Premier League. Just saying.
Yeah, I think, but stats is not the right metric to judge a player. I think we should also see by eye as well. So I think Gyökeres can do well, but it totally depends upon how the rest of the team is doing and how quickly City
Gyökeres
can
is
react.
too clumsy on the ball. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
with that height, do you expect him to dribble like Messi?
that's true
I
as
do
well.
not expect him to be like dribbling like Messi, but he looks like a bit awkward on the ball. He's like, yeah, what should I say?
I
I think
mean,
he
did
I
you
think
watch
he'll be
Peter Crouch?
Yeah, Peter Crouch was also clumsy on the ball, but the way Arsenal play, you
Yeah.
cannot be
So, so,
clumsy
so,
on the ball.
so, how many goals he scored in the Premier League?
lads,
Did
Different
you
lads,
did you
lads.
mindset.
see did you see Chris Wood?
Chris Wood is playing in a completely different type of team.
Did you see Jermaine Defoe?
Jermaine Defoe was quite good on the ball. He wasn't that clumsy.
Yeah, so many clumsy players have come over the years. Just because they are clumsy doesn't mean it makes them a bad asset or by any means.
I'm saying Gyökeres is a bad fit for Arsenal.
That time will only tell. We can't tell that eventually right now. We are not like any tacticos or something here that are
I
sitting
mean,
with some
I'm.
book.
I mean, I have got balls, but none of them are crystal, so I don't think we can predict anything else. So let's move on. I think we have to discuss about Manchester City.
Manchester City, yeah.
So about Manchester City, I think they have done a few good, smart business. I think
Yeah,
in the
few
form of
hours
Ruben
ago I
Diaz.
saw few hours ago I saw Gundogan going to Galatasaray as much as I know, and Akanji going to Inter as much
Yeah,
as I know.
yeah, yeah. They have done some good transfers, but I don't think it's enough. I don't. I think they are very
They
far
have
behind the
not
likes.
like replaced that spine of Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Aguero, Kevin De Bruyne. They have replaced Aguero, I mean, but still, like that spine. What I would say, even their wingers have deteriorated over time from Mahrez and Leroy Sané days.
Yeah, yeah, that team, that City team that Pep had in 2017, 2019, that was actually the best team I've seen in the Premier League. I didn't watch Fergie's United, but that is the best team I've
Yeah,
seen
that team was a
because
machine, literally.
the football, the quality of football they played week in week out was just fabulous. Like you could just fall in love with it. But but after the season Liverpool won, I think they got a bit pragmatic, and it was more about like stretching the opponent defenses, elongating, and it was more about width play. So I think they changed their style, and I think their last title in the 2024 season, I think masked a lot of cracks they had in the team. I think
23, I think.
2024, I think
2024
2023,
was last one. 2023.
2023, 2024. So I think that masked a lot of cracks they had in the team. I think Rodri had a phenomenal season, and by the hook of luck and some elite level bottling from Arsenal, so they won the league. But I think if
I
they
mean,
lost the league, that
both Arsenal and Liverpool bottled the title on the same day. One to Crystal
same
Palace,
day,
one
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
Aston Villa.
That was hilarious, but like I'm just going to say this, like this is in a hypothetical situation. I think if they lost the league, I think they would have rebuilt it better. I think they left it too soon, too late. I think they won the league and they rested on their laurels that yeah, okay, we are the champions of England, we don't need much change. I think we can do whatever the hell we want. And it's like, okay, let's get Gundogan back and just sign Savinio, and that's then we are done, we are okay with it. But it's not, you just can't do that. I think they had some holes, and they even lost some key personnel in the form of Mahrez, Alvarez, and I think that depleted the squad depth they boasted in the early years of Pep's reign.
Another big
I
problem with
think
them
Pep
is their
is
defense. Like it's not formidable at all. Like it's continuously switching from time to time. They don't have a proper fixed defense, especially two center backs. What I would say, like Ruben Diaz, we don't see more of him. We don't see more of like John Stones. We didn't see more of Akanji. Guardiol will play a center back right now, as I'm hearing. So what are they trying to do with that position? I have really no clue. And even like the right back or the left back, they have got Ait Nouri right now. But right back, they only have like one right back, and after that, it's Matthias Nunes. So there is a very lack of depth, what I would say. And it's not a
Yeah,
great defense.
it's actually very surprising that they didn't sign any defenders bar Nuri, and I think as good as a signing ain't Nuri is, I think I think they needed much more depth in the right back position. I think they don't have a specialized right back, and even the likes of Diaz and Stones and even Akanji, they have fallen off a cliff after the treble winning season. So I think they needed replacements, and you just can't rely on the likes of Kusanov and Victor Reis. I don't know if he's even in the club at the club. I think he has gone on loan. So
Loan.
the main problem is like they are resting a lot on the old guards they had back then, but the main problem is you need to replenish it with young blood as the seasons pass. And I think Pep has missed this trick. And as we all know that Pep doesn't stay this long as at a club. He always comes in with a set team, spends some money, and then gets the team to win championships and made much more trophies. But at City, it's a completely different landscape. He has stayed here for 9 years, almost 10 years upcoming, and now he has to rebuild the team again. And so this is gonna be a real test. He has never done this before, and if he fails, I think people are gonna question his credentials as a top manager. I mean, he is still the goat. I think he's one of the greatest managers. But I think what Fergie did, rebuilding the Manchester United team multiple times. So I think that is a very underrated aspect any manager can have.
Yeah,
I
completely replacing the spine of the team is very difficult. And Pep hasn't done it properly in the last few years, as I'm saying. He has become a quite bit lazy, I would say. Like, is Pep's time coming to an end? We don't know really. But the difference between managers like Pep or Jose is like Pep always got the things he wanted. He never had to work with any problems after all. Like Pep is like the Senna of what I would say, the McLaren, and he got what he wanted that time. But right now, things are not looking good for him for once. And like Arsenal, Liverpool both have strengthened equally. So like he has to do something, or he has to eventually move on from the team and they provide them with a fresh start. Like sometimes a change is for good.
And Suhag, what do you have your opinion on Man City?
really think that Pep is not good at rebuilding teams. Even at the latter years of his reign in Barcelona, his team kind of fell off. With that team, he bottled the league in La Liga. Real Madrid won it with 100 plus points. Even in Bayern Munich in the later years, it was a bit shaky. So, yeah, I do not think Pep is really good at rebuilding a team. He's good at coming into a team and making few changes, implementing a style of play, winning few trophies, and then moving along. But I do not think he is the type of manager who can rebuild a team.
And if you and any no rebuild helps if the transfers aren't successful. And I think City have missed this trick over a few years. I think the last successful transfer window they had was back in the treble winning season, and after that the signings are kind of miss and hit. The signings are
Yeah,
kind of miss and hit.
except Haaland, I would say no one has done that much of a big difference to the team. Like Doku is sometimes good, sometimes bad, but I
Alvarez
would
did
say,
before he left.
but
Alvarez did well before he left, eventually.
Alvarez was good, I would say. But
Yeah,
like
he's
what I
he's
would
fine,
say
but
is
that's
the
super sub.
impact. Yeah, like he wasn't a starter that much. Like Haaland was like the impact they needed, and like since then they haven't like properly invested in the squad or some game changer like that. Like everyone is bringing like a marquee player nowadays, like the big dogs basically. But City isn't doing that anymore. Time is
I
running
think
out of their
City
hands.
I think City is gonna be the City is easily gonna be the top four. I think counting them out of the top four, I think is gonna be foolish. And
Yeah,
I
of
think
course. Like
I think
they
they are
ain't
gonna
falling off.
be. I think they're gonna be in top four, and I think they will do good in the cup competitions because, as we all know, cup competitions are about moments of brilliance and not that kind of consistency is required as you may need in the in the league tournament. So I think they will do good in the cup competitions, but I think they will struggle in the league as we have seen in the defeats against Spurs and Brighton, where they were absolutely caught by the transition plays of Spurs and Brighton. So I think they will struggle, and I think they will struggle, but the main problem with them is the defense. So I think they need to invest heavily on the defense next season to get back
Yeah,
the title
like the
aspiration.
city we knew, like that city doesn't exist anymore. Like the city I saw for like 3 4 seasons, they were like a blood hungry lion, what I would say.
Yeah,
Once
yeah.
they got that taste of the blood, they didn't stop. They
The fear
won.
factor is absolutely gone. The fear factor is absolutely gone. Every team that faces City now will have that in mind that yes, we can be if we do some things right, if we tweak a little bit things, I think we can win against City.
Yeah, of course they have a formidable team, but it's not that city anymore. Like it's a bit fallen off recent times. On the
So
other news,
now let's talk about the yeah what we were saying. Sorry for the interruption.
yeah, on the other news, like clubs like Villa and Newcastle have done some signings lately, and let's see how their season goes eventually. Because both have a disaster start till now.
Yeah, right. So now we are going to discuss about the mid-table teams like the likes of Forest and the Wolves of the teams. And so I think Forest has a very good season, previous season, but they narrowly missed out on the Champions League. So what I'm going to say here is like they can do better this season. I think they can really do better this season. They have got the likes of Endoy, Omari Hutchinson. They
By
have some good
seeing that
signings.
start, I don't think so. Actually, like that West Ham team, which is getting banged by everyone, they conceded three to them. Like,
I
I
mean, this
really
kind
don't
of
understand what is going on with them.
I mean, this kind of
Graham
things does
Potter is a
happen in the.
fraud of a coach.
This kind of
No,
things
like
does happen in the Premier League. I
yeah,
think
it's
I'm
the
not
early
really
start
that
of the season.
surprised.
I can agree, but the thing is, like Forest was known for its formidable defense. What I would say, it's looking quite leaky right now.
I banked on their defense and absolutely got fucked in the Premier League. Absolutely. If FPL go fucked me over. So the main problem with the defense, I think they need to be a bit formidable. I think the main problem with them is the uncertainty that is going around the
Yeah,
club, around the coach, involving the coach. I think where one moment he's getting sacked, one moment he's staying. So I think that is kind of causing a unrest among the players as well, due to the lack of clarity given by the ownership.
yeah, like morale always affects for the players. Many players start thinking about their whether their future is here or not, basically under another manager. And in this uncertainty, any team it's quite difficult. But right now, I should hope it solves as the window has closed in right now.
I mean,
And
I really want Nuno to stay because he has done a great job at Forest, and I don't think
yeah, of
anybody else could
course,
have done.
like Nuno has done a great job. They have a good owner as well who cares for the team actually. And many may make memes on him, but he's a good guy, I would say, in terms of owner.
Yeah. He remembers me of young Abramovich, who was very hell bent to make Chelsea the one of the best teams in the Europe. So I think he's good, but I think with the PSR problems in the league, I think they will struggle a bit with financially, and they might not have that kind of rise at Chelsea had, but I think they will be competitive.
Plus, they have European competitions this year, so it will affect the squad after all with the fatigue and
Yeah,
the lack of depth.
yeah,
So let's see what happens. And like the main thing is like they need Udi to fire. That's the only thing.
absolutely. They
Like that
need
one
Wood to
season
fire.
of Wood, 20 goals. They need that again.
I do not
Uh,
think Wood will do that. 20 goals from Chris Wood is like asking lightning to strike twice. It doesn't happen often.
I mean, the guy
Lightning
is
may
about
strike
to
twice.
hit. I mean, the guy is about to hit 100 goals in the Premier League and join the 100 club. So you don't think a
I
player with the
mean,
100 club tag
he,
can hit 20 goals a season?
he has played in the Premier League for a fair bit of time. In you have
And
to see how many
played for
That
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 played for that
that's
Burnley
just
team,
level.
which literally threw a ball. Like nothing was their tactics from the defense. Throw the ball upwards. Like
yeah.
getting 10 goals like that is quite respectable actually.
So moving on to now Aston Villa now. So I think Aston Villa had a very bad transfer window. I think according to me, I don't think they have improved the team any bit.
I mean, they had a bad transfer window, I would say, until the deadline day. They did some things after all. But what
But
happens to
I
Martinez,
wouldn't
no one knows, right?
but I wouldn't class signing Lindelof or Sancho as good signings because we have seen what those two have done at Man United.
I mean, see, they need a change of environment. They lost Asensio, so and they lost
And
Rashford.
and,
What I would
and
say,
Rashford as well, yeah.
yeah. So like Malen and all our playing Makin on the wing doesn't work really. So you need some wingers and you need some backup, especially when you are in like European competitions. It's quite necessary for a team like Aston Villa to have backup. Also, I am not understanding. I was watching the whole match last night for Crystal and Aston Villa. Like they conceded 3 goals, like very silly 3 goals. What I would say, the team looks like in missing of a whole of a defensive midfielder. Like there's quite gaps open, and the whole reliance is on like Rogers and Watkins. They are just panning the ball. They aren't even properly able to feed Watkins to the goal. So how will this team work like
Yeah,
this?
they lack in the attack department. I think they don't have a sufficient amount of attackers, and they are relying a lot on the duo of Rogers and Watkins. And I think something needs to change. I think they have lost a certain like a very fair amount of attackers like Diaby, Bailey, and even Rashford was who had a very good impact last season for Villa. And I think the missing out on the Champions League has costed them dearly in the long term because if they had got the Champions League football, I think they would have bought Marcus Rashford or someone of that same caliber.
Yeah, the PSR issues are also on their head after all. So they need to do some things like that. But
I think they
yeah,
have a
like
good. I think they have a good midfield and a good defense, but I think they will struggle with the attack because I don't see the likes of Sancho improving anything. I really
plus
don't
they are
see.
both the defensive midfielders are missing at this point. So
Yeah,
it's not
the
doing
first
him
rush
any
pivot is
favor.
out.
Yeah.
I
The
think
signing of
Sancho will
Elliot, I
do
hope it's good,
it.
but let's see what the time brings for them after all.
I think Sancho will do a decent job at Villa, contrary to beliefs, because I feel like the way Villa plays suits Sancho's style of being a traditional winger more than United, especially under Ole, where he relied mostly on creative wingers who could run up the ball. Sancho is more of a classical winger who can hug the touchline but isn't that fast, and more of a technical winger.
But the problem I think Sancho is gonna face is that Aston Villa is traditionally a counter-attacking team, and to play in a counter-attacking team, you need pace. And I don't think Sancho has that burst of pace that the likes of Rogers or even the Diaby and Bailey had before.
I mean, you can see it as a Asensio replacement. What I would say brings a different type of dimension to their attack. They have a winger in Gesand, I would say, and Rogers also plays wings right now. So they
Even
will
even
get
even
a
Magan
different
plays
type
as
of
a
attack.
winger now. Even Magan
I
plays as a
mean,
winger.
that is quite shit, I would say, but still okay. Yeah, and like addition of Harvey Elliott can actually do well. He needs some game time, and let's see what happens with him after all.
So what's the
And
verdict on Aston Villa?
I think
Top
they need to.
six.
I think it's very difficult for me to say the top six really because the performances haven't improved, and it's like 3 game weeks only. I can understand, but there has to be some sign of improvement, and especially if Watkins isn't firing, top six or top five for them is really difficult.
Yeah, I think I don't. I think they will deteriorate. I think they will deteriorate, and I think they will finish around 10th or 11th. I think they don't have that kind of squad, and I think they will be in the European competitions this season, and I think they will face some squad issues regarding fitness and proper depth. But I do hope they do well because Aston Villa is a team which I have liked very well to see in the previous years. So I think I think if they bought a few players, I think that would have been great, like proper quality wise. But it is what
My
it is.
question is,
You
when
have to
was
do.
Grealish available? Why didn't you win for him?
Exactly, exactly. I think that
Also
was a
a
good
big
market opportunity.
also a
Yeah,
big
like
problem for Also, a big
right.
problem for Aston Villa would be that they weren't able to sell Dibu Martinez. They really needed that money to make like proper
Is he
signings. I
sold though?
think
I have no idea.
No,
Galatasaray
no,
was
no.
like
he fell off
it
with
off.
United.
I think United completely baited them. I think they're thinking into. I think United baited both Royal Antwerp and Aston Villa into thinking that we are gonna buy their goalkeeper, and then Royal Antwerp thought, oh no, we have to drop the price, otherwise they are gonna buy Emi Martinez. So I think Villa kind of got mugged up, and they also got Sancho. So double mugging. So I think
Who
so.
I
cares,
think
bro? Who
Villa,
cares, bro?
United
My
would have done
pronouns are
better
Marco
with
and Rico.
Martinez. I really think United would have done better with Martinez rather than
Yeah,
relying on a young
actually,
squad.
even I think that too. Like
Yeah, I
banking
agree.
on a new
I agree
goalkeeper
because
is like you have two young goalkeepers, and banking on another young goalkeeper is not at the call. You shall rather go for someone who is proven.
and it's like it's like the De Gea conundrum. I think De Gea came into a team when he was very young, but that was a team which was winning titles and also competing for the league, so the defense could minimize his mistakes. But this is a team that is absolutely struggling and finished 15th last season. So I think Lemons will have mistakes, and I think the fan base and the media has to be patient with him. So I think he will have mistakes, but I think we need to support him well. And this is the reason I think Dibu Martinez would have been a good choice. Would have been a better choice actually. And I know he's a bit old. People can say he's 32, but goalkeepers actually have a prime when they reach the 30s. It's not the same thing with the outfield players. It's a very different thing. I think I think when United signed Van der Sar, he was around 35, and then he played for 6 years. So I think age is not that big of a issue for any goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers, anyways, they tend to play over 30, 35.
Right,
I
right,
don't know
exactly.
from where this woke thought came. Like, don't sign goalkeepers over 30 or something.
Absolutely, this is what the FIFA generation has imposed on us. This is absolutely woke nonsense. Okay, so now let's discuss about Newcastle. We've almost
Oh
discussed
my
about all
god.
top things.
Oh my god.
The punching bag of the transfer market.
They
Newcastle
got
have been utter.
like I was seeing a tweet a few hours ago. Like, firstly, they wanted 150 for Isaac. After that, they said after the 110 bid, they said no way. After that, they said 150 plus we need two replacements. After that, it came down to like 130. Liverpool said 125. They okay.
I
I
mean,
mean,
as soon
What
as
are
they
they like?
Newcastle have been an absolute joke this window. Absolute joke, why?
Even not that, like I would say the visa one, they like haggled around for 35, 40 for ages and eventually went them to paying like 60 in the deadline day. Like that is some absolute shambles, I would say, for someone
Newcastle
who is
have Newcastle have been facing more rejections than me when I confess to my crush. Absolutely dog shit. They got rejected from strikers left
Brother,
and right.
I don't think that was, I don't think that was necessary.
necessary.
I don't think that was necessary. Comedy is absolutely welcome here, but I don't think that was necessary. But anyways, moving on. Yeah, I think Newcastle, I think had deserved a better transfer window. I think they have bought some players, but I'm not really sure at the price they have bought those players. I think it's a mistake. I think Nicolas Voltemart for what 90 million, Visa
Yeah,
for
that's
50
massive
million.
overpay.
I think they got kind of
That
marked up.
German guy had 12 goals by the way in Bundesliga last
Uh,
season.
the next thing we know, he might be another Hoylund, and so I think they massively overpaid for these kind of players.
I mean, I didn't see much of the guy. I saw only in the German national team sometimes, and the guy is quite lanky, I would say. Like he's a unit, but he's very not good on the ball. It comes up, comes down like that, and
Yeah, yeah,
he can be easily
exactly.
brushed off the ball. Like he's only there as a target man, what I would say. He can dribble well, that I can say. But
Mhm.
it's Premier League after all, not Bundesliga.
Yeah, I've seen the comms. captioned German Messi, but I'm not gonna believe anything until I see him play.
Dude
Yeah,
is
of
built
course.
like Peter Crouch. He is nowhere near Messi.
I
Dude
mean,
is
he's
built
built
like
out
a German
instead
No,
of
no,
Peter
Shepherd.
Crouch, but he plays like Messi.
Comparing to Peter Crouch does huge disservice to what Peter Crouch was back then.
Yeah, really, Peter Crouch was a good player. Why everyone thinks he's some like
I
bad
think
player?
I
I
think
really don't understand.
Peter Crouch belongs in that genre of players who were actually good in their prime, but just because nobody didn't like he didn't have the spotlight on, so the new generation thinks he was absolutely shit and absolute joke. But
Yeah,
it's not. Peter Crouch
he
was a
doesn't
decent player.
fit he doesn't fit the face card of Soboslai or Calafiori. No one rates him.
Face card gets you off any jail. That's sure. That's sure.
Like,
Okay, so we have discussed the most of the top 10 teams. The last team we have is Bournemouth, and so what are your verdict on Bournemouth here?
when did Bournemouth become out top 10? That's my question first.
I mean, they
Bournemouth
finished.
defense got
I
destroyed.
mean, I mean, they finished ninth, so yeah, I'm gonna give them a fair chance here.
Who was 10th by the way? Forgot.
It was Brentford.
So we need to speak about Brentford next.
I don't think Brentford is finishing top 10, so yeah, let's continue.
Brentford is finishing top 10. I doubt they even finish 18 at this rate.
Brentford is getting relegated. I think Brentford is.
I bet
I
Brentford
mean,
is relegated this season.
they got some players like Kelleher they got there, which is actually all right, and they bought up Henderson, what I would say, and like Outara is a good signing, but they still overpaid on him a lot.
I think Brentford haven't done much to recover the losses they had. I think they lost a huge chunk of what the club was about for a few years. Like they lost the Thomas Frank, his assistant coach, is the manager with no such prior experience. They lost two of their best players. Like they lost their captain as well. Nordgaard left. So I think like a lot of players left, and there weren't any suitable replacements. I think they could
Even
have
I
done a
would
lot
say
more.
Flecken was quite good for them last season also.
Flecken was good, and they are
Yeah, so
losing
it's
players. They lost a
problems.
lot of players.
There's problems for Brentford, and another thing is who replaces a Premier League coach with a set piece coach with no Premier League experience.
I mean, Arsenal
Like,
might do that when Arteta gets sacked, but let's move on.
okay, so coming down to Bournemouth, a club we don't see it much, but a club finishing ninth in the Premier League sold their defenders to Arsenal, Real Madrid, Paris Saint Germain, and Liverpool respectively. So, like, it's a detriment, what I would say. And Ariola is a great coach, I would say, but I think he has hit the ceiling with Bournemouth, and they cannot back him anymore. Truffert is a good signing, I would say, but except that
Diakite has been a good signing as well.
it is all right, but that defense doesn't look anywhere near the last season. Like, anyways. Plus, I think they need a more stable midfield. What I would say, like their wingers are quite good, and Evan Nilsson, if he stays fit, that's quite good for them.
For
But
me, Iraola has reached. I think for me, Iraola has reached that stage where, like Thomas Frank stage, where he needs to get a move. I think he's ready for a move, and I would actually welcome him to Manchester United if Amorim gets sacked. But I know
who
we
already
all
wants
we all know what happens with hiring mid-table managers when Moyes was hired by United, and we all know how dreadful that ended up. So, but I think, like regardless, I think he should get a better move. I think maybe a move to maybe Nottingham Forest or a Newcastle might do him good. Might do him
yeah,
good.
like he has taken Bournemouth to a certain level, and he has to now rise from it after all.
He
Yeah, not
has taken them
disrespecting
as far
Bournemouth,
as he
but
could, but now I think he needs to get a move.
yeah, like even a club in Spain would like take him, like someone like Sevilla, if I say. So it's quite now the high time for him to make that upgrade move. And as for Bournemouth, it's all about how much is Clivert, Semenyo, and Evaninson fires for them. If they fire for them, they shall be all right till now. But
I
none of
think
them will stay.
I think they are relying a lot on their attack. I think the likes of Evan Nilsson, Clivert, Semenyo, I think David Brooks, I think they are relying too much on their attack. And when the attack doesn't perform in certain matches, I think they will have a tough time. I think
Yeah,
will have a tough time. Okay, so we have been long for a long time. I think we should wrap this video up. So, what are the season predictions of both of you?
I feel like Liverpool will win the league again,
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm
And top
not
four.
jinxing it.
and Arsenal will finish second.
Okay, classic Arsenal.
And who are the other two on your top four?
City obviously, and I think Chelsea will again finish fourth.
I would actually kind of agree with that prediction, to be honest. Like, it's a quite good prediction.
Yeah, yeah,
Just,
same prediction as
it's,
me.
I don't want to jinx it right now by saying Liverpool will win. So it's high time to go. The 35 game week still to go. Let's see what eventually happens. And things always don't tend to happen the way we think it is. One injury and
Absolutely,
many teams can
absolutely.
go
Uh,
on the opposite side. And we might see some new underdog teams this year too. So, like Everton, what I would say, they are doing quite well. So they might have a good chance even
Fulham
in the
has
top half.
impressed me this season, especially that new kid playing at number 10.
Josh King.
Yeah, Josh King. He has been really impressive, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think he could be the Buonanotte of this season. What I would say for the FPL perspective. But okay,
That's
yeah.
the reason
So
I got him.
yeah. So coming to the topic, I think I would agree with that top four, and like let's see how the season wraps up eventually, and we would see a lot of good moments in this season. I hope.
Yeah, my predictions are the same as well. I think Liverpool is going to win the league. I think it will be a close title fight between Liverpool and Arsenal, but I think there will be a gap between Liverpool and Arsenal and between Chelsea and City. I think there will be a gap, and I think Spurs is going to finish fifth. I think Spurs is going to surprise everyone. I think Spurs is going to finish fifth because I think Newcastle will fall off last season. So will Aston Villa. So will Brighton and the likes of Forest. Sorry, not Forest. Bournemouth as well. So I think Spurs will finish fifth. I think they will have a good season. And as for my club, Manchester United, I'm not that optimistic as much as I want to be, but I don't really see anything better than 8th to 10th. I think 8th to 10th. It might get even worse. I think it might get worse before it gets better. So I would say my club finishes eighth because there have been no wingbacks or midfield signings which we are crying out for. So that's it. I think.
Anyways,
So let's wrap this up. It's been a
yeah.
pleasure.